It's the story of a boy who taught himself to glide across the ice with a pair of skates his parents bought for $9 at a yard sale. It is a story of that same boy making it all the way to the NHL, but at what cost? Akim Aliu faced racism and violence at every level of his hockey career, from pee-wee to professional. He's now sharing his story in a new graphic memoir, hoping to inspire change and make anyone else who sees their experience in his feel less alone. Akim Aliu joins us this morning, and I've got the book here too. It is so good to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be here.
So let's back up a little bit, because you wrote this really powerful op-ed for the Players Tribune. That was back in, what, 2020, that laid out your experience. For this new memoir, Dreamer, you've chosen to go the graphic novel route. Why this format? Why a graphic novel?
I just thought that it's you could really paint a picture through pictures. And I just thought it was really important for people to be able to visualize some of the emotions that I went through dealing with a lot of the issues that I did go through. Obviously, my story is a little bit different than most kids growing up, especially playing hockey in Canada, but just growing up as a whole. I lived in 3 different continents before I turned 10 years old, and just got to see the world in a little bit of a different light. I saw some of the negatives and some of the positives that come with living in different places. I saw the way my mom was treated in a small town in Africa growing up. I saw the way my dad was treated in the Soviet Union in the late 70s and early 80s. So that paints a picture in your mind of kind of the way the world works and what motivates people. And coming over to Canada, hockey was like a religion. And we weren't really well off financially, but it was just a sport that I almost felt left out not playing, just because my friends were playing it. Everywhere you look on TV, people were playing hockey. So it was something that I really wanted to do. It was really difficult for my parents to get me into the sport because of our financial situation.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that specifically, Akim, because you ended up here in Toronto. You write that your parents got you this pair of skates for, what, $9 at a yard sale? And then you take those skates and you go down to Trinity Bellwoods Park, which, by the way, for people who don't know, in downtown Toronto, that's pretty close to where we are right now in our studio. And then you just get down to business on the ice. What do you remember about those self-taught lessons?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just a lot of trial and error. I remember having a pair, I still have them, it was a pair of leather skates that were very difficult to skate in. It was not that long ago, so leather skates were very outdated even at that point. But it was just a lot of falling down, but I just fell in love with the game right away. The ice was something that was my solace and my happy place, and that stayed that way for a long time.
When did you realize that you were good, that this was not just a passion, this could actually be a career?
I think because of my parents not really knowing the game or understanding the game, that probably took a little bit of time. I kind of graduated through levels pretty quickly. I went from house league to AAA, which I think is a little bit, obviously, a big jump. And once you have scouts coming to the rink, OHL scouts at 14, 15 years old, starting to talk to you about being a first-round pick to the best junior hockey league in the world, you obviously start taking it seriously. And obviously, my parents were like, hey, there's some here, and let's put all the resources we possibly can behind them.
That's what people could see. What they couldn't see was the racism and violence that you experienced at every single level of your hockey career. I mean, all the way from pee-wee all the way to the NHL. You are talking about what you've gone through now and how you've been treated. How has speaking out impacted your career?
Yeah, I mean, in so many ways. For a long time, hockey is one of those, it's a sport that there's a culture of silence. And anytime you act different, speak out on issues that happen in the game, you're essentially blacklisted from the game, just because of kind of how archaic some of the thinking and mentality is around the game. And for a long time, I've been a player since day one. I talk about hazing in this, in the book as well. When I called out hazing when I was 16 years old and saw my draft stock drop, I was a top pick into the OHL, never played on any Team Ontario or Team Canada teams. I ended up being a second-round pick to the NHL when most people thought I would have been a first-round pick, and a lot of the conversations weren't around my hockey ability. It was everything that else came with me, and the fact that I was outspoken and a lot of the issues that were going on in the sport. So I do think I never got over it, but I'm at a happy place in my life now, just knowing that I'm paving a smoother path for the next generation, and I'm really hoping they don't go through what I went through.
And opening up those locker room doors for that conversation to continue. A reminder, Akim's book is called Dreamer. Thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Congrats.
Hey, Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.